If Red and Blue made me interested in Pokemon, Gold and Silver made me fall in love with it. Gen 2 is bigger, better, prettier, and every single aspect of the original game got expanded and improved upon. To this day, most of what I can remember from my childhood is centered around Pokemon, and the game in the middle of it all, Pokemon Silver. Catching every Pokemon in Red and Blue was in reality a warm-up for the real challenge, completing Pokemon Silver. This was my game. I even came pretty close, with 248. Seen, not caught. Oh, on that front, I was really far. But this time, I'm doing it for real. I'm completing a Living Pokédex in Silver. If you do not know what a Living Dex is, the goal is to obtain every single Pokemon in the game, evolutions included. Basically, we catch them all. Except we can't catch them all, but you get the point. To assist me on my journey, I made a tool for Red and Blue in the form of a website. It has a Pokédex tracker, a step-by-step guide, Pokemon location data, and more. Actually, the Gen 2 website is already up and running. You can check it out right now and start your own Living Pokédex. Just maybe wait until the end of the video. Back to Gold and Silver. These games brought a lot of fantastic additions. But what's new regarding catching Pokemon? That's our main goal after all. We better be prepared. This is where the database I made for the Gen 1 Pokédex helps us out. If the Gen 1 Pokemon data was a triangle, Gen 2's data is a square. All we have to do is look for what doesn't fit in our current database, and we have our answer, along with the strategy we will need to employ. So here are the differences I noticed while parsing through all the Gen 2 Pokédex data. There are two new ways to encounter Pokemon in the world, using Rock Smash on breakable rocks and Headbutt on small trees. Those ways aren't that different from tall grass, except that we need a Pokemon that can use specific moves. Note that both are TMs, but can be purchased at the Goldenrod department store once found. Time and day are introduced, with events and Pokemon being dependent on either one. It is not a big deal for our challenge either, as we have plenty to keep us busy while waiting for a specific time window to open. The legendary trio, legendary beasts in that case, is now roaming in Johto, and can only be encountered randomly in tall grass. Hopefully, since we will spend most of our time in tall grass, encountering them shouldn't be a problem. Now, here comes the best change. Eggs! Woo! Are now part of the game, and are a blessing for the Living Pokédex challenge. No longer do we need to replay the game to get each Pokemon as many times as its evolutions. We now only need one Pokemon, and, with a few exceptions, can duplicate it as many times as we need. We still need to breed each Pokemon and hatch the egg, so it is not a direct process, but it is better than having to replay the entire game. Speaking of replaying the game, Gen 2 expands on a Gen 1 design which quickly became a cornerstone of the series, much to my dismay. Unobtainable Pokemon. Red and Blue's only unobtainable Pokemon was Mew, as it was originally distributed through events. Gen 2 adds Celebi, although available in the Virtual Console version of Crystal, and makes the Gen 1 starters, the fossil Pokemon, the legendary birds, Mewtwo, and Mew unobtainable in Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Meaning, if you want these Pokemon, you still have to go back to Red and Blue. And that means finishing the game on one save to gain access to Cerulean Cave, and getting to Cinnabar Island on another, as we need to revive the fossil Pokemon. Not super excited about that part. One aspect I noticed while making the guide is that as a result of Pokemon being introduced just to show the new game mechanics, there are a good number of them only available in one area or very rare, sometimes both. While it made the guide-making process easier, as the critical path through the game was more straightforward, it kinda sucks. I mean, there are supposed to be 100 new Pokemon introduced, but looking at it more closely, you are unlikely to get most of the new additions. Let me show you. To showcase the new egg mechanic, 7 baby Pokemon are introduced. Except for Togepi, which is given as part of the story, these Pokemon can only be obtained via breeding, and are worse than their evolved counterpart, meaning 6 less Pokemon to encounter. To showcase the new Mouse Outbreak, or Swarm, mechanic, 6 new Pokemon are given very low encounter rates, from 1 to 10%, and almost only appear in a single area. Given swarms happen randomly, and each require to have a specific trainer recorded in the Pokégear, a new Gen 2 feature as well, you can easily miss those Pokemon and their evolutions, meaning 9 Pokemon you will likely not see while going through the game. To showcase the new Headbutt mechanic, 2 different types of trees with 2 distinct rarities were added to the game. Because there is no clear way to know how this mechanic works, or if you're even hitting the correct tree, you will probably give up after repeatedly getting the very common Spearow, Caterpie, or Weedle. Meaning you will miss the Headbutt exclusive Pokemon Pineco and its evolution, Aipom, and Heracross. To showcase the new Time of Day mechanic, some Pokemon can only be caught either during the morning, the day, or at night. Actually, that's only technically true. Did you know the only morning exclusive Pokemon are Ladybug and its evolution, which happen to also be Silver exclusive, while the only day exclusive Pokemon is Sunkern? The Time of Day mechanic is an excuse for night exclusive Pokemon to exist, as a showcase of the new Dark type. If you don't play during the night, you are likely to miss these Pokemon. Even if you do play during the night, you are still likely to miss them, as their location is very specific. Pokemon like Murkrow, Misdreavus, Sneasel, and the one that makes me the saddest, Houndour, can basically only be found if you are specifically looking for them. That is a lot of missable Pokemon. And remember, all of these restrictions apply on top of the usual Pokemon restrictions of version-exclusive Pokemon, starter choices, trade-only Pokemon, rare encounters, and legendary Pokemon. I'm not saying it is bad, as getting a lot of new ways to get Pokemon will make the Living Dex challenge even more fun. But I distinctly remember as a kid only seeing the same Pokemon again and again, while some seemed to only exist in guides or for NPC trainers. If you felt the same way, now you know why. Still, all of these additions expand the game and how it can be played. So much so, in fact, that we can approach getting our Living Pokédex in a lot of ways. So we need to limit our options and come up with hard rules for the challenge. See, I could very well transfer all the Pokemon from my Gen 1 Living Dex to Gen 2, then catch the remaining Pokemon. But at that point, it wouldn't be a Gen 2 Living Dex, but a Gen 1 Living Dex on a Gen 2 version. So, here are the rules I set to keep to the spirit of the challenge, catching every Pokemon in Gen 2. Every version we use during the challenge should start from a clean, new game file. Only the Pokemon who do not appear in Gen 2 can be obtained using Gen 1. Every other Pokemon is obtained in a Gen 2 version. Any unique encounter available on the main version, Lugia, Oo, the legendary beasts, or Sudowoodo, for example, is caught on said version. Catching a Pokemon is always preferred over getting it via in-game trade whenever possible. Catching is also preferred over hatching an egg, unless the Pokemon is not immediately accessible, as it would require a separate playthrough. You will see that catching an evolved Pokemon is also preferred over catching the basic version and evolving it, but that's mostly because there are a lot of Pokemon to evolve anyway. We don't need more. For the purpose of keeping this challenge as clean as possible, any glitch used is only performed when absolutely necessary for unobtainable Pokemon or items, and not on the main version. But what about Pokemon Crystal? I have been very vocal about my distaste for Pokemon Yellow and the precedent it set for the improved version. This is dumb. The thing is, eggs allow us to get all the evolution stages of a Pokemon without getting it several times, which cuts down on the number of playthroughs we need to only 3. Because Celebi is only available in Pokemon Crystal, the 3 playthroughs we need for starter Pokemon worked themselves out. We just play one of each version. The reason I didn't pick Crystal as my main version though, is threefold. First, the game I grew up with is Silver, and the goal of this challenge for me is to finally complete versions I played as a kid. So, nostalgia, pure and simple. Second, Crystal follows the trend of quote-unquote best versions, still requiring you to play the original 2 versions to complete your Pokédex, meaning I have to play through Gold and Silver anyway, and at that point, it makes more sense to write the guide for Gold and Silver and supplement with Crystal than the opposite. Finally, like Yellow, the changes in Crystal are very incremental. They improve the experience in small ways, and are a welcome addition, but do not change the game significantly enough to warrant playing it over Gold and Silver if you want to. If you have not played a Gen 2 game, or have an affinity for Crystal, it is a great version of the game. And you can absolutely follow the guide, with some small tweaks, and complete your Living Pokédex. Most of the encounter tables are improved anyway. Now that we have all the information we need, and the rules are set, here is how we will play through the Living Pokédex challenge in Gen 2. First, we pick a main version, where all the Pokémons are going to be stored, and play through to the end, until we get access to Mount Silver. The purpose is to have access to all HMs and areas of the game. Then, in any order we want, we play through the other Gen 2 version to get all the version-exclusive Pokémon. We play through Pokemon Crystal to get Celebi. Yep, that's the extent of the reason we play through Crystal. We will make the best of it, and get a couple more Pokemon on the way. And we play through a Gen 1 version to get all the Pokemon unavailable in Gen 2. Remember, those include the legendary birds and Mewtwo, so we'll need to play the entire game. Finally, we go back to the main version and catch every single remaining Pokemon. This is the most fun part, in my opinion, so we keep the best for last. There are a lot of other aspects to consider, as Gen 2 introduced a plethora of new game mechanics, like the aforementioned swarms, and encounter and events dependent on the current time or day of the week, the bug catching contest, the new friendship system, getting evolution stones. Yeah, it is not as easy as in Gen 1. And how the catching mechanics work in Gen 2. Most of these are a whole can of worms I'll open during the challenge, when they become relevant. Pretty much all of them basically add more playtime to the Living Dex. One addition that doesn't are the new Pokemon moves. Abilities such as False Swipe, which cannot KO a Pokemon, or Mean Look, which prevents the opponent from running away, will be invaluable in allowing us to catch every Pokemon. And catching Pokemon is the only thing left for us to do. I explored and explained most of the important changes in Gold and Silver and how we will approach the Living Pokédex. So we're ready to go. I am so excited for this, and I hope you are too. Oh, you can check out the website I made now. Before you leave though, do make me know what you thought of this video using this, and a little bit of this maybe. Also, make sure to come back when I do start the challenge. I hope you have enjoyed this video and wish you a wonderful day.